Ancient courtroom dramas usually sound pretty dull, but what if I told you this 2,000-year-old legal case involves a corrupt ex-slave turned governor, a scandalous marriage to a teenage princess, and accusations of inciting revolution?
Hmm, that's definitely not what I expected from a biblical text. What makes this particular case so fascinating?
Well, you've got this lawyer named Tertullus, who opens with the most over-the-top flattery of Governor Felix, claiming he brought peace and prosperity, when historical records show he was actually brutally oppressive. The Roman historian Tacitus even described him as someone who exercised the powers of a king with the spirit of a slave.
That's such an interesting detail about Felix's background, from slave to governor through his brother's political connections. You can almost feel his insecurity in how he handles the whole situation.
Right. And that's what makes the charges against Paul so fascinating. They accused him of being this dangerous revolutionary and temple defiler. But here's the kicker: they didn't bring a single witness, not one person who actually saw him do anything wrong.
So they basically hoped Paul would somehow incriminate himself under questioning? That seems not very well thought out.
Oh man, and Paul's defense is just brilliant. Instead of playing their flattery game, he systematically dismantles their arguments by pointing to the complete lack of evidence. He's like, where are all these supposed witnesses? Why isn't anyone here to testify about what they saw?
You know what really gets me? The private conversations between Paul and Felix, along with Felix's young wife Drusilla, who Felix had actually seduced away from her previous husband when she was only 20 years old.
And that's what makes Paul's choice of topics so gutsy. He talks to them about righteousness, self control, and future judgment. Like, could you pick three topics that would make a corrupt official and his stolen bride more uncomfortable?
The text specifically mentions that Felix was afraid after hearing Paul speak. That's such a revealing detail about his psychological state.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Felix keeps calling Paul back over 2 years, but not because he's seeking truth. The text straight up tells us he was hoping for a bribe. Meanwhile, Paul's sitting in custody, even though everyone knows he's innocent.
Hmm. It's like watching someone wrestle with their conscience in slow motion, choosing political expediency over justice every single time.
You know what's particularly tragic? Every one of those conversations was another chance for Felix to do the right thing. But he kept waiting for that mythical, convenient time that never came. Um, Sound familiar to anyone?
The parallels to modern politics are pretty striking. People in power still making decisions based on political calculation rather than what they know is right.
And here's the real kicker: Felix lost his position anyway. Historical records show he was recalled to Rome to answer for his mishandling of Jewish Gentile conflicts. So, all that careful political maneuvering, totally worthless in the end.
So, what you're saying is that sometimes trying to play it safe politically actually ends up being the riskiest move of all.
Exactly. And that's what makes this story so relevant today. It's not just about ancient history, it's about how systems of injustice often persist because people in power keep waiting for a convenient time to do what's right, while that convenient time never actually arrives.
Well, that really puts our modern political challenges in perspective. Some aspects of human nature really haven't changed much in 2,000 years.
And maybe that's the biggest lesson here. Moral courage isn't about waiting for the perfect moment when doing the right thing becomes easy. It's about choosing to do what's right even when, especially when, it's politically inconvenient.